Follow your dreams.
Okay.
Okay.
Hay Ferris, carnal, que no.
This is The Hassle of Hair, a podcast about a married couple going after their dreams and meeting people along their way.
So we were literally talking for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't get.
And it didn't record anything but 5 minutes, which I think was the first 5 minutes of the podcast. But welcome back. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's. A big shout out to our sponsors. First up, we have Castro's Pool Service and Repair. Do you guys need your guys' pool serviced, maintenance, clean, fixed? Castro's Pool Service and Repair is the place to go. Their phone number is 209-675-5418. That's 209-675-5418. Check them out today, guys. Support those that support us. No, I was just...
We were talking about divorce.
Yeah, it's just... We've been married for 10 years and
Will be 10 years.
will be 10 years, and we met each other after 6 months. After meeting each other for 6 months, we got married, and it just dawned on me, like, what are we doing different? Like, what is it that we've done?
Mm-hmm.
And because since we've been married for 10 years, we know a bunch of people that got divorced.
Yeah.
Friends that got married in their 20s and then in their 30s got divorced. Family members that got divorced. Like, it's just, what's the difference? Like, what are we doing? Like, I mean, today I felt like, man, I'm going to be with this woman forever. We went to Serious Dumplings in San Jose. Amazing. Ate like a jackass.
He went there twice, though.
Went there twice. Ate like a jackass both times. And it's like, I was just like hanging out with you. I'm like, man, I'm going to be with this woman for the rest of my life. When we first got married, we had no expectations of each other.
Yeah.
Like, it just, like, what do you think keeps us together after 10 years?
What do I think keeps us together?
Yeah.
Love.
Fuck. You know it's not. Like, we love each other. Yeah. Love is like.
Love.
Love is fucking work.
Yeah, it is. Maybe knowing like I've been with you for 10 years and not wanting to start over. Like, say like, because I do love you. I do want to be with you.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's times where like, yeah, maybe you're walking in front of me down the stairs. I might want to push you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what was the question again?
Why do you stay with me?
Why did I stay with you? Got it. Because I guess it boss you around and you deal with it. Like, you deal with a lot of my bullshit.
But there is like, you motivate me. Like, the way you sometimes you text me, you call me. And like lately it's been more like you motivate me and push me and you want these things from me. And
Yeah, because there's no need for both of us to be depressed. Sad or down.
But no, like I'm no, hold on. I'm not depressed. What the fuck? I'm saying like you're like lately you've been super motivational. Like you've been open to me. Like you're like pushing me to keep going. And
Because you're like the most positive person I know.
yeah.
I mean, you're always happy. You're never like, me and you are opposite.
Yeah.
And I'm more of the angry, mad person. And you're more of like, like, I don't care if that person pissed me off. Oh, whatever. Just let it go.
Yeah.
And me, I'm like, no, I'm going to hold a grudge forever. We're two different people. So you're more happy. And it's weird not seeing you happy when you're not happy.
Oh, guys, I'm not depressed. Like, relax. No. More of like, okay, it's frustrating. Like, I want this. I'm doing these podcasts. I want them to work, and I'm like constantly like trying to figure out what it is, what we're doing, what like, and it's a struggle. Like my mind, the way my mind works is I get on something, I fucking roll with it. It's just it's crazy, right? It's so just figuring out. But before, you weren't as motivation. Like, you wouldn't not even motivation. You're so supportive.
Okay.
And I think about myself. I think about how young I was when I first married you, and you've always been supportive.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like, we just talked about, like, divorce used to be, it wasn't free will. Like, divorce was the only way you could get divorced was if you were getting beaten or if you were
Adultery.
or adultery, right? And that until the 60s, 1969,
Basically,
passed-
up until the 70s.
Yeah.
Let's say the 70s.
1969 they passed it saying that
If you were getting your ass beat.
no, in 1969 they made it so you could divorce if you guys split up after 2 years, like
Oh, yeah.
basically disagreement, right? Free will, divorce with free will, like
Yeah.
and it was like lately I've been into that, like what is it keeping us together, like that, even though we are able just to say, you know what, I don't want to do it. Like divorce is not frowned upon, like there's no weight on our shoulders that we have to stay together. And and then around us we have people getting divorced, and I think the expectation, like we were talking about, the expectations of marriage is so much different now.
Yeah.
Right? Take away religion, take away all this stuff, like your views on what marriage is, but the expectations have gotten so high with social media. You talked
Yeah,
about it,
yeah.
social media, with money, with status, like,
Yeah.
and what were you saying about how people with their marriages for the gram, or you're saying
Their expectations for marriage, like, you're saying the expectations, like, what are people's expectations for marriage? And I said, was that the question though that you were asking?
Yeah.
Or what was it that you were
what
saying?
were you saying, like about the expectations?
Although a lot of people do flaunt it for like the likes, the people wanting to look at their profile, like they want to go all lavish and
They want to show that they're in love.
yeah,
Yeah.
their way of in love is throwing a big ass party and stuff.
And then so the expectations are already set super high.
Yeah.
So if you don't have that kind of lifestyle and you get married and you had $100,000-$200,000 wedding,
I feel like you're already starting your marriage in debt. Like, to be honest, you really are.
in physical and mentally.
Unless you can afford that, and not like, this is the thing. I feel like when we got married in a courthouse. We literally had a court wedding. We did what we could afford. I don't even think we could afford that, to be honest, because I don't even remember how much the marriage license and all the paperwork we had to pay for it.
I didn't even remember that it cost money. I don't even. Okay. Sorry. I don't. You guys, I don't pay.
But
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
go
Go
for
ahead. No, I was just saying, like, I don't even know. Like, you could scam me out of fucking money big time. Like, if we ever get rich, like, I'm fucked. And we talked about it before. Like, we owed someone money. I didn't even know that we didn't pay them back. And I was like, and then you forgot. I thought this whole entire time I thought we paid him back. Like, just
no. The thing is, he doesn't listen.
that
He doesn't listen.
Okay. Okay. What happened?
What was I saying? Oh, I'm saying if you can afford it and without having to have the help of other people, like, obviously your parents are going to want to help. But if you have to go beyond that, like, to get help to pay for a wedding that you can't afford, you're already going into debt.
Yeah.
Like, you are. Instead of putting that money in, like, oh, let's invest it in a home together, then you have that already. Because then you have a marriage, you're already in debt. Then you get a home, you're even more in debt. And that's, again, if you can't afford that.
Yeah. It's not even the physical debt, right? Like, your emotional debt, relationship debt, meaning.
I feel like that puts a strain on, like, marriages, though. Like, if you're worried about money, like, having to pay for, like, things off.
But set aside the money. Set aside the money. Think of the event, right?
That's a stressful day. Let's be honest. I'm glad we didn't have a big wedding. Like, I'm being honest.
No, but think about the day, right? Think about what you're providing for your wife, because most of the time the wife wants the big wedding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about what you're providing. You're saying, like, this is you. You're a queen. You're a princess, and then and then you go back to normal life.
Mm-hmm.
There's no buildup. It's like there's a big dopamine hit. This shit's fun. I'm gonna post it on social media. I'm gonna I had a good time. We're gonna have memories, and the dopamine hit of the relationship is at an all-time high.
That's
And
why they say the honeymoon phase is over.
But that, yeah, yeah. That's like I thought of something. I realized I was like, oh no, that's why they say the honeymoon phase. I'm an idiot. But then you go boom, you hit the normal level of what a relationship
Reality?
is.
You hit reality?
Right?
This is why we're together.
You hit reality, and then being with that person and having to deal with the way they live life, the way they think of life, the way, like, it's just, that becomes work.
Yeah.
Having to balance that out, right? And it could either go two ways. You could either you find the right person and they connect with you. You guys click. Everything you guys are on the same page for everything. Actually, it could go three ways. Or you guys are not on the same page.
Yeah.
You guys can't get it together. It's like, and you could fight with them about it and work on it, or you could just ignore it. Right?
I feel like
when you ignore it, you fucking end up in a very horrible situation.
I feel like people should live together at least a year together before they do decide to get married. That way they can see how that way you can see how the other person lives, see how.
But that's what I'm saying. We didn't do that.
No, we didn't. But
But
that's why I'm saying it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm fucking saying it. Anyways, let me get back to my thing. I feel
Okay.
like people should live together long so that you can see how the other person is. I mean, obviously it stinks if you guys could both fix it, but if you can't, like, I don't know, maybe you don't want to get married.
Yeah.
Unless you guys have a house and you guys both have separate rooms.
But I think we did it backwards, right? We did it when we talk about that. When people get married, they hit that dopamine, boom, super high on it, super high on marriage, and then they get to reality, which some people, they overextended they overextended their marriage where they don't have that kind of lifestyle, so they're gonna go back to regular life, but they look back at that marriage like, look at the marriage, how beautiful it was, and the wedding. I'm saying the wedding was so beautiful. Why is it like this right now? Because your life was never there. So we did it backwards. We had no high of it.
No.
It's like we're married and there was no honeymoon phase. It's like work your ass off, going through it together, arguing constantly, right? We've built this relationship where we've worked on it for years, right?
Yeah.
And like how to argue, how to talk to each other. And it's not always perfect.
No.
And now we're getting to like eventually hit that lifestyle where we wanted, right?
Yeah.
It's because when we first got together, we were like, we just want to have a better lifestyle than we had when we were younger. You know what I mean?
Like so far already, we've had people ask us like, "Oh, so you guys plan on having a baby this year?" Like, no, we're not gonna have any kids.
Yeah.
Eva is in her last a year and a half of high school. Not sure if she's gonna want to go to college or not. I mean, we would love for her to go to college, but if she doesn't, we're not gonna have to worry about her when she's gone. Like, she's not gonna be here, living here with us if she decides to go to college. It's just gonna be me and him, and then like we already decided like, oh, what are we gonna do? Like, we're gonna travel. We're gonna do this. Like, like it's a discussion we had. Like, do we want to stay in Los Baños? Do we want to leave Los Baños? And I told him like, well, we already have a house here. Why not just keep it, travel, and then always have a home to come back to?
And I don't know. So it's just, I think we did it backwards. Right?
Yes, of course we did it fucking
expectations.
backwards.
There's no expectations.
No,
It's
yeah,
working
we
out.
both knew we were both fucking poor. Of course, there was no fucking expectations there.
Like, what do you think? What do you think the top reasons for divorce are?
I feel that the expectations of, I feel like maybe one person might do the job more than another person in the household. And the expectation of, well, I go to work well, when both people go to work and then one person comes home from work and the other one like cooks and cleans and stuff like that.
But that's a super common. Oh, sorry, I didn't. Oh, keep going.
No,
Keep
go on.
going. I didn't mean
No,
to
go
cut
on.
you off. But that's a super common. Like every marriage, every marriage fights about that.
Mm-hmm. I
Right.
still fight with you about it.
But like everybody we talk to,
So-
everybody like
Let me tell you guys a story real fast. It was after Christmas, the Monday after Christmas, and I went to work and I wasn't feeling good and I came home and he comes upstairs he's like, oh, I'm going to go downstairs and clean up. I'm like, okay, cool. He comes upstairs and I was like, he's like, oh, I cleaned up a little bit. I'm like, okay, cool. So I went back downstairs to get something. He's like, I go, oh, you cleaned up? What did you do? The whole house was still a fucking mess. The only thing he did was put the chairs back to the table. He didn't do anything else. The garbage was full. He could have took that out. There was recycling from the presents and the boxes sitting there. He didn't take that out. All the dishes were still there.
yeah. I need to go get checked for like ADHD or something.
No,
Like, I can't just focus on one thing.
No, it's not. I think if it's something you actually want to do, you will do it. You don't really care to throw out the trash
But isn't
or
that
to
what
wash the dishes.
ADHD is?
No,
Like, yes, it
no,
is.
it's
Yes,
not.
So it's someone that has ADHD that's been diagnosed with ADHD that told me that it's
It's different
literally
for
what-
everybody, though. It's not gonna be the same for you that he has.
oh exactly. Listen what
But
you're
you
saying.
don't have ADD, dude.
I'm saying
You just because you were in the slow kid class does not mean you have
I was
ADD.
not in the slow
Okay,
kid
what
class.
kid-
Why are you just hammering
What
me
kid
with
was it?
making fun of
What
me?
kid was it?
Basically, why are you just like
What
you're like,
class was it that you had took in school?
Huh? I was on the 504 program or something like that.
What is that?
I don't know. It's just a program. Jeez, why are you laughing at my deficits? Like, Jesus.
You're full of shit.
I'm not
That's
bullshit. Oh, you're
Dude,
saying...
you're in your 30s. You stop making excuses.
Okay, yeah, and there's plenty of like data to show like, man, Jesse's like all over the place. Obviously, there's something wrong with me, right?
No,
You don't think so?
no. I just think you don't
So
want to
you're
do
gonna
it.
say what everybody else just lazy?
Yes.
No bullshit. Because
said that?
I get
Who
no.
said
I'm
that?
saying like, cause like my parents were like, Jesse just lazy. Like, why didn't he do his homework? Jesse just lazy. Like, why? Like, it's like, it's literally like, why is it that?
Okay, the question. So
Yeah.
you know the garbages go out every Thursday and they get picked up Friday. How come you don't take them out Thursday?
That's a lazy thing.
okay.
That's a lazy
That's
thing.
basically what I'm saying is stuff like that. Like if you
But
see,
I'm talking
I'm
about-
saying, okay, so the trash was full. You don't do it until I'm already like taking it out. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
do it.
that's a lazy
I'm gonna-
thing.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying stuff like that. I'm not saying all the other shit you don't do.
I'm saying a task. I'm saying a task.
yeah,
Because we're
and the
talking about
task
a
that I
task.
just told you, or the task you literally
I'm saying when I'm doing the task, when I'm doing the task, like how hard is it for me to do the task, right?
Okay, the task I literally just pointed out to you, you just said, I'm lazy.
No, okay. The first one, fuck, dude. The first one that we're fucking talking about.
What?
About me, like, when it comes to doing a task,
Okay.
when I'm in the task, like,
Okay.
it just, my head is just all over the place. Like, the other day I was setting up for Nashi's fucking podcast.
Uh-huh.
I'm setting up for her podcast, and I did like 4 different things at one time. And then nothing got done.
I literally do that throughout the day.
No,
I could-
but I'm saying nothing got done.
Oh.
Like I'm setting up for her podcast. I'm trying to set up the audio, and I'm setting up the actual where she's gonna podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm setting up just like doing 4 different things, and none of them got done. And I stopped. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like I was so mad at myself, and so that's when I had to fucking put like. Obviously something, right?
Relax.
No, but
Dude,
like,
relax.
I'm
It's
saying-
not that serious. Jeez.
I'm saying
We're already in
obviously
the new year.
something.
They're already
I-
pissed because you
I
can't
was saying-
multitask.
Obviously something, right? Like I'm like, fuck, dude. Like I'm trying to do that. It's the same reason when I was younger, I would like
Your dad would send you in the backyard to pick the peaches off the tree.
No,
The plums.
My uncle used to say, like, Jesse doing a task, Jesse doing an hour task is probably going to take him 24 hours. And it's true. Like, I see it. And when I like something, when I do something, when I'm doing something I like, I could focus. I could fucking do it, right? But when there's more than one task, it is so hard for me to get all of them together and do them all, do them separately and finish them. Does that make sense? When it's just one task, I could fucking do that task, right? But I don't know. But fuck, dude. Okay, how do we get on this? How do we get on?
No,
So
we're talking
stupid.
we're talking about why do you think people get divorced? And I said because one person is doing more of the job than the other person instead of it being 50-50.
Yeah. Okay, back to that. Why do people get divorced?
Too much conflict.
The 13 most common reasons for divorce. This is on divorce.com, guys. It says too much conflict, incensant, INCSSANT, arguing. Incessant. Fuck, dude. Like, you basically calling me dumb. Now I'm like, I'm done.
Nobody
I'm
called
done.
you dumb but you.
So it's like too much conflict, right? Arguing. According to psychologist Dr. Howard Markman, how you handle conflict is the single most important predictor of whether your marriage will survive.
Okay, next two.
But like, we're good at that. Like, we're good at like,
conflict. Yeah, we fight all the time.
No, hold on. But we're good at like getting through our problems, like talking our way through. Even though sometimes we get like hectic. And you avoid conflict. Like, you not avoid conflict. You're like me. I'm like, I'm avoid it. You're like, I'll just do it myself to avoid it, right? I don't know, but we do well. I'm just saying, like, the way we work through problems.
So are we leading to divorce or not divorce?
No, I'm just saying we do pretty good.
Okay, next
that,
number two.
Lack of commitment. That's basically cheating on them, right?
Okay.
A happy and healthy marriage requires commitment from both spouses. Unfortunately, it only takes one spouse with a lack of commitment to the relationship to doom the marriage if one partner isn't fully committed to the other. Then the marriage will eventually suffer. Sometimes the spouse who is still committed to the relationship believes they can single-handedly save their marriage if they work harder at it. After all, if they put in 200% while their spouse puts in 0%, that equals 100%, right? Like, we do. At times, okay, I'm not going to. You talk about that. How do you feel about that?
What you're talking about.
How do you feel about that? Like,
about what?
About our, like, what I just read for the lack of commitment to the marriage. Not about, they're not talking about cheating. They're talking about work on, like, commitment to the marriage, working on the marriage. How do you feel?
I think you're pretty good with that.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, dude.
To the marriage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, like, we both work on it. Right? Like, we'll argue. We'll argue, and then you go somewhere and, like, you text me later, I'm sorry. Thank you for dealing with me. Or I'll text you, hey, I'm sorry.
And then I'll say you're welcome. And then you'll say, don't you have something to tell me? I say, no.
Yeah. Oh, this is
infidelity.
So 3 is infidelity.
Obviously, we know infidelity is next.
Cheating. Yeah, and I haven't cheated on you. When I was younger, it was different. I had to work on it.
When you message girls?
I got caught messaging instant
porn
model.
stars.
Porn stars. What the fuck, dude? Okay.
Lack of. That's me. That's me right there.
Lack of emotion. So number 4, lack of emotional and physical
intimacy.
Or
physical intimacy. That's me.
Lack
right
of
there.
emotion. That's fine. That's you.
Yeah, the whole thing is me right there.
The physical intimacy.
I
you've gotten way better.
I've gotten
and it's not
better,
just talking about sex.
No, but like hugging, like you give me a kiss, like
it's gotten like
it's gotten better than what it was,
dude. When we first got together, and the first time we ever had, this is where I knew I was in trouble. This is where
don't say it. Don't say it.
I can't.
Nope. No, you can't. Unless you want me to spill the beans about other stuff.
You spilled the beans
No,
on it.
I
You basically
didn't.
called me
No.
dumb on this.
I didn't say dumb.
No, let's just say
no,
she was not.
Don't.
There was
Jesse,
no love.
Nope.
There was.
How? Of course, there was no
No,
love.
no. Okay, can I fucking talk? There was no.
Don't.
There was no.
Don't.
There was
Don't.
no love. There was no affection in anything, right?
No.
In anything. And when we first got together, there was no hugging. There was
No.
It was weird. I was thrown off by it. But then I was at a point in my life where I didn't want somebody clingy. So like you were perfect at that time. for me. I really didn't, and I still don't like clingy people. Clingy people weird me the fuck out. Like friends, like all that shit. It's like
I don't feel like, that we're clingy, and I don't try to be clingy, and I feel more and it's not like we share locations because he commutes like he goes over the hill a couple times a week, and it's scary. Like if you've ever driven over the hill, so like I'll see like, okay, he's here or he's there, and not because I want to be like, oh, who the fuck is he with? It's because I get worried. Shut up.
No, so it just the lack of emotional. So it says emotional and physical intimacy grease the wheels of smooth running relationship. When they're gone, however, serious relationship issues often take their place. Communication breakdown. Dude, we had to work on that so hard.
Yep.
On learning how to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just from both of us.
Yeah.
Me, I have a horrible memory. You just don't like to communicate. Like or like learning how to control. Like how long it took us to have an argument where it was just
We're able to talk it out.
talk it out. When we first got together, it literally was just us yelling at each other.
Screaming match.
Yeah.
Next.
So it says anger, resentment, sadness, and loneliness, infidelity, and greatly diminished self-esteem are some of the most serious issues and left untreated. They can irreparably damage a relationship and pave the road to divorce. When emotional intimacy is low, non-existent, your sex life will probably suffer as well. When you feel emotionally distant or disconnected from your spouse, your marriage may become a sexless one to regenerate the spark. Regenerate the spark. Never. Dude, I need to learn how to fucking read. Try to remember why you fell in love with your spouse. Oh, fuck that.
Next. Go to the next because we don't have that much time. Come on.
Don't have much time. Okay. Communication problems between partners. Isn't that number 5? It says a breakdown in the lines of communication is one of the biggest predictors of divorce. Couples who don't communicate cannot resolve issues together and tend to suffer more misunderstandings and hurt feelings. There's been so many times where we had arguments because you said this and I said this, or he said this, she said this. Like communication is so key in I think any relationship, right? Like I had to learn. Like what I had to learn is how to put my foot down. Right when we first got together, voice my opinion. It was hard for me in the beginning, right?
And I voice my opinion all the time.
Yeah.
But it's not. Previous relationships put me in this position where I feel like I have to speak up and say what I need to say.
Problem.
What?
You need therapy.
You need therapy.
But like,
Is that supposed to be a burn?
No. But I like your previous relationships. I knew you told me a little bit of them, but I wasn't prepared for that at all.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Domestic. So number 6, domestic violence.
Yeah. No.
Like
We don't do any.
you.
hitting.
Yeah. You fucking wanted to push me down the stairs. Okay.
I whispered it in your ear. But did I do it?
This is a big one.
Did not.
This is a big one. Number 7, opposing values or morals. There have been literal wars fought over differences in race, religion, nationality, and culture, and persecution based on all of these plus gender, sexuality, and even which political party someone supports. Do you like?
We don't agree on anything. Like,
Yeah.
and we don't make fun of each other for like your beliefs or my beliefs or what I feel is right or what you feel is right. Like,
Yeah.
that's never really been an argument between us. It'll be a discussion and like we talk that out, but we never really argue about stuff like that.
But I've lately I've been like I've lived with everybody, not just you. Lately I've been our lives are all different. Like
Mhm.
I had a different life than you. You had a different life than me.
Yeah.
We see the world differently.
Mm-hmm.
So because of your experiences, I can't get mad at you.
Yeah.
Right? As long as I believe your values are good rather than bad, then I'm okay with it. Now, if you believe that like if you were like super racist or like
Mm-hmm.
or you were just super mean to people like that, yes, I wouldn't be with you. But as long as they align with good, I'm okay. I never judge you on the way you think. Like
Yeah.
even if I probably started going to church now and ended up in church,
is
or
not
if
my
I went
thing.
Muslim, or if I did other like another religion, like I don't think we'd get into a fight as long as I don't
No.
force it on you and you don't force it on me.
Yeah.
Right. Number 8, addiction. Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I do a podcast with EJ Oreka about addiction and recovery. It's called Not So Anonymous with EJ Oreka. Find it on YouTube. No, this is something that I think, fuck, dude, like listening to people's stories, like producing EJ's podcast, like
Mm-hmm.
it's tough, man, because these people are dealing with something that you can't help them with, because they had to choose it on their own. Like
Yeah.
recently I've had say a friend, and I see him going through addiction, right? And it's never had to deal with that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's a crazy thing. It's a crazy, because you can't stop them. That they're not the same person,
Yeah.
right? I can't imagine having to do that in a marriage. I can't imagine you being a drug addict.
Yeah. I don't. No.
And like I was drinking a lot. Like you've always checked me. You're like, hey, dude, like you're drinking like every day. Like you're drinking like when
I'll
I was
say
younger.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when like at least maybe 3-4 years into our marriage, you were.
Yeah.
When we moved out here, you were drinking a lot,
Uh,
and then I don't know. I don't want to say like recently, but there was one point where you're like, I need a tall can. And it was like
a
almost
beer a
every
day.
night. Yeah, like
it was like a beer day.
and I'm like, hey, like
Even
our
like-
cans are starting to look like beer cans, not soda cans.
and it's crazy because like
You know what? It would be because I would also get like Truly's, like the 12-pack or whatever
Yeah.
came, and I would barely get 1 or 2, and then they would be gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying like
during that time I was stressed the fuck
yeah,
out.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, and then I would tell you like, hey, you're kind of drinking a lot,
Yeah.
or
But you've nipped it in the butt, and like I think the one thing that like made me not want to become that, and like when you do see you call it out, I'm like, okay, I see you, I understand.
or when your 16-year-old
Like,
calls it out.
Well, that was what happened. Like even the edibles, like I had edibles 2 times in a row. I'm like, okay, can't do that.
Yeah.
Like I'm on it. Like that's just like I can't do that. I can't 3 days, 4 days edibles when I have to provide for my family. Like it can't. I have to be functioning all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, once, twice, every 2 weeks, or twice or 3 times a month. Like that's fine. But like when you're doing it like every day, then you got like I'm not saying you got a problem. I'm saying I feel like I have a problem because I'm not the fullest I can be to support my family.
Yeah.
But like the one thing that changed me is like I can't do this for fun anymore. It's not a game anymore. Was when I got fucked up on my high school reunion
Oh God.
and I threw up all over myself.
Yeah, that was not fun.
Right?
I was pissed.
I couldn't drink the same after that because my daughter looked at me and she said, "What the fuck?"
Oh, you better hurry up.
And it just, I don't know.
Okay, let's go through these. Okay, number 8, 9.
If you do have a the EJ's podcast changed. If you guys do have a problem, if you know someone has a problem, reach out, guys. There's NA.com, there's AA.com, there's in town in Los Baños, there's meetings for it. So reach out, guys. Absence of romantic intimacy or love. I think the love is bigger. Because we could go a week or a week and a half or 2 weeks without having sex, and we're fine, right? This one is far too common given how busy and stressful our lives are, especially like when we go 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, man, what's going on? We gotta have sex. But
Is that what it says though? Intimacy is right there. Does that say anything about sex in there?
it says
Does it?
you're on your own point because I'm just thinking. This one is far too common given how busy and stressful our lives are, especially when you add driving the kids to football, hockey, baseball, ballet, whatever. The practice before and after school into the mix. Too many couples prioritize everything except the relationships, and one partner is blindsided when the other says, I want a divorce. Contrary to popular belief, it has nothing to do with sex. Love is not self-sustaining without carving out quality time and intimacy as fun as a couple, not just as a family. Love withers like a plant without water and sunshine. That's one thing I did notice when I left to do work at the bar the other day. We were together all week, right?
Yeah.
You had gotten sick. Like no matter how much you hate me, right? We always spend time together.
Mm-hmm.
We're always with each other. We love being like, no matter how much you hate me, I know you love being around me. I know I love being around you.
Yes.
Today, even like you were shining today. When we went to Serious Dumb, I was like looking at you. I was like, I fucking love this woman. But like, we're working and going towards so we can have better things together.
Mm-hmm.
Like my vision of my future doesn't. There's nowhere in that vision where I'm like, oh, I'm doing it all by myself.
Yeah.
Right? Like, do you think that we do a good job at getting together?
Yeah, I do. When we're together, yeah.
And hanging out?
Yeah.
Here we go. This one's going to be a big one for you. One spouse not carrying their weight in the marriage.
Yep.
We all know a marriage like this, both spouses work full time, but only one of them takes responsibility for grocery shopping and cooking and household chores and child rearing. Over time, the spouse whose work doesn't end when they get home can build up a powerful resentment against the other, and unless the situation is addressed and rectified, the marriage could spiral down into divorce.
That would be our biggest problem right there.
That's our number
That
one
would be
problem.
Yeah. Okay. Next. Babe, I told you I
Okay,
have work in the
okay.
morning. I'm sorry.
'Cause she's-
You got to go through these.
Okay.
Let's go.
Financial problems and debt. We already touched on that.
Yeah.
We started out without nothing.
Yeah.
So like there's no expectations of having everything.
Yeah.
We're fine. Right? I don't know. How do you feel?
I'm okay.
Let's go. 12, marrying too young. Bullshit.
Yeah.
We did it. Don't do it. Don't do it. We did it. We're good.
It worked for us. It
worked
might not
for
work
us.
for you.
It says the perfect age to get married is between 28 and 32.
I feel like because they feel like by that time you have your career and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
This is a big one because we're exact opposites.
yeah.
Lack of shared interests and compatibility. I understand. I could read.
Sound your
Between
syllables.
between partners. Opposite may attract, but similarities are what bind. With no shared interests, you will either start spending less and less time with your spouses as you pursue your hobbies and passions, or give them up in a favor of your spouse's interests.
I feel like it's good to have your own interests, even if your partner is not interested in the same things you are, because I mean, you guys already live together and like hang out and sleep together. It's good not to always have the same interests.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could support their interests. Like,
That's-
hey,
that- I
good
think that's key.
job.
I think that's key. Support of the interests. And
Yeah.
you've always supported everything I've done,
Yeah.
right? Everything. I mean, this
Everything.
podcast is fucking
Yeah.
a perfect example. Support.
Podcast fighting.
But no, I just wanted to say that we spent the first day of 2023 and we ate. I looked
Mhm.
at you and fuck, babe, like
We were not on our phones like people were.
yeah, that's
I mean, we were watching the football game, but we were not on the phones when we could be sitting there having a conversation.
I don't know. I don't know if it's just I'm high on love right now with you, but I don't see us. I'm excited. I'm excited of what's gonna come. I'm excited of things we're doing. I love you with all my heart.
I love you too.
Marriage has been hard.
Yes.
But 10 years, we're almost there.
10 years.
I love you, babe.
Let's
Thanks.
go to Vegas.
Yes, let's go to Vegas. You guys, Raquel does a photo booth. She has some open slots for January.
Mm-hmm.
Hit her up, Raquel Diaz Designs, or even the Hassle of Hair podcast Instagram. I want to go down the rabbit hole of marriage in the next few months, guys.
Maybe we could get some
Just-
other married couples on here.
Getting married couples, talking to them. I do other podcasts. I produce EJ's podcast. It's called Not So Anonymous with EJ. Talks about recovering addicts. He interviews recovering addicts, people that have been in recovery for a while. It's blowing up. It's a faster rate. I wouldn't even say blowing up. It's just getting bigger fast.
It's getting more traction.
Yeah. Nashi's coming back out with their podcast, Happy Dagger Podcast. Go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then so much more. I have another one. I don't want to announce it yet, but you guys, we're gonna keep the ball rolling. Don't ever give up. We're gonna keep this podcast going as long as we can. I love you guys. Other than that, peace out.
Bye.